This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is House of Memphis. It was written by Gavin Inglis with Lynn and Mike Mason, and it is included in Mansions of Madness, Volume 1. Our keeper of arcane lore is Justin Bumgardner, and this is Episode 1. Our recap, well, we don't have a recap. Before we begin, I want to mention that we get most of our funding through our Patreon site. Your generous support helps to pay for our websites, our club space, and everything that goes into our video production. It's your support that keeps us going, and we deeply appreciate it. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Justin?
Thank you very much, Thom. Our game begins in 1927 in Boston, Massachusetts. And the five of you have been called together at Palmer and Pickering, which is a prestigious law firm, and it has offices that overlook the Boston Commons, which is the oldest city park in the U.S. Their office walls feature paintings of formidable old partners and maps of Boston that date all the way back to the Revolutionary War. And the five of you are seated in the waiting room, and then a dapper gentleman approaches you. This man is an older gentleman. He's in his 60s. He's wearing thick glasses. He's wearing a unfashionable suit, one that might be closer to the gaslight period than the Roaring Twenties, but he's got a keen analytical stare as he looks around, and he kind of slowly turns to each of you. And the man introduces himself. He says, "Hello there. I am George Pickering. I am the attorney for Memphis the Great. I have been his attorney since his career took off 30 years ago. I'm determined to protect my client's property and reputation in his absence." Many of you, if you've followed the papers, you know what's going on. Well, something strange has happened at Memphis's mansion, and I want to understand it, but I also want the situation to be kept hush hush. So all of you were hired as people that have a reputation for getting things done, but also as people that can act with discretion. So I would like to start by brief introductions. So I'd like to start with our private investigator, Carl Cooper. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, gentlemen. My name is Carl Cooper. I've been in the private investigation business for just 5 years at this point. I'm a junior partner, but I'm learning the ropes. It's been a bit of a slow start for me. I had to go through some rehabilitation after the end of the war before I could actually rejoin society. I've taken some nasty damage to my nerves from some shrapnel wounds, so I couldn't move very well for a while. But now that I can, I'm sort of reintegrating, and I know how to deal with things, and I can be very discreet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cooper. Next, Virgil Bluff. Boy, you're tall.
My last name is Bluth, and yes, I'm very
Sorry,
tall.
Mr. Bluth.
Yes. So he is basically a giant, and it has clearly not helped him very much in life. He's skull faced and pretty dour looking. He wears a cheap suit and he looks like he might have pretty stiff arms and legs. He's very rigid as he is standing like perfectly upright, kind of like the Addams family, Lurch in a way. And he's a very deep voice, deeper than mine because he's so tall. And he is watching everyone very carefully, and he's playing with his camera as he's watching. He's a very quiet person.
Yes, and Mr. Pickering is also watching everybody very carefully as well. Next, Dr. Lionel Moore.
Yes, Dr. Moore, happy to be working with all of you. Doctor of medicine, so Mr. Cooper, if you got any problems with that shrapnel in you, I could help you out, of course, and all.
Painkillers are always appreciated, Doc.
Oh, as long as they're put out in careful doses,
Yeah.
cocaine always works the best. So we found in our research.
Well, I haven't tried that one yet, but I might.
Oh, oh, you should. He's like, oh, but I got started in medicine because I was pushed there by my mother. She said that with looks like mine, that was the only way I would be able to get a wife is by having a good job. She was a interesting woman to say, but it worked. I'm now a doctor. And also, I've been dabbling in the stock market. It's going to do nothing but go up, up, up for the next couple decades, I'm sure.
I'm getting tempted myself. I understand.
Very wise. Next, we have our agency detective, Mr. Vic Hammer. You're on mute.
You're mute.
Oh, I couldn't find my unmute. I'm Vic Hammer. I served the Great War, came back to the state, went into, couldn't really find a niche for myself. So got hired by a detective agency. I was approached and pretty happy here. Like my job, like mysteries, solving them. This one looks like it's going to be interesting.
Okay, and finally, we have the amazing Woodrow Wilder.
Yeah, so interesting group we've got here, isn't it? I am Woodrow Wilder, the amazing Woodrow Wilder. You've probably heard of me.
Unfortunately not, but do tell.
Well, I'm based on the West Coast.
Of course.
I'm one of the very few and rare prized Hollywood mystics.
Oh.
I'm currently on tour with Mombril and Sons, and we are playing at the South Park Theater in Boston. I was approached for my expertise in magic, though I'm not quite sure how it's going to relate. Mr. Pickering hasn't told us clearly what mystery is going on, but I assure you, if there's a mystery, I will solve it.
Oh. Can
Well,
I ask you a question there, Mr. Wilder, or
Yeah.
Amazing Wilder?
Please.
How do you cut the girl in half?
It's all smoke and mirrors, my friend. Smoke and
Ah,
mirrors.
smoke and mirrors.
Mr. Wilder, if you ever move to the East Coast and you're looking for legal representation, Palmer and Pickering does have experience in servicing clients in your profession.
Well, Marco Sherry is my agent. I can give you his card. You can speak with him. We'll see if I like Boston. It seems like a little park is pretty.
Well,
Uh,
um,
Boston Commons.
oh yes. But there will be time for some tourism later. We've got some very important professional business to get to at first. So without further ado, you all look competent to me. I want to bring you up to date with the facts. Um, Memphis the Great, who everybody has heard of. He's the, famous stage magician, by far the most
He
famous
does
stage
amazing things with doves. I'm so impressed.
to come out of Boston.
Yeah.
He has disappeared about a month and a half ago.
Isn't that part of his job description?
Well, for on stage, you're not supposed to disappear for a month and a half at a time. But be that as it may,
Okay.
the main reason why I'm calling you here is not his disappearance per se, but more has to do with his mansion. His mansion has been lying empty for the past 6 weeks. And recently, the bodies of 3 burglars were discovered by the house's caretaker.
Oh my.
Now, the police have completed their investigation, and the official police finding was they determined that the burglars must have quarreled over their loot and then killed one another. Now, personally, I find that explanation very hard to believe. I want to know the truth that concerns the break-in and the murders of these burglars. And to this end, I am asking, I want you to take on this case, and I would like you to find out what you can about it, but to do so discreetly, because we don't want anything that could harm the reputation of Memphis the Great. So yeah, a lot of money is at stake here, and that's why you're being paid fairly well. What I would like for you to do, I mean, you all are the professionals, you're decide how you want to investigate this. But I would like to start off by having you interview the caretaker, the one who found the bodies. That's a Mr. Caleb Madison. And for your convenience, I have brought Mr. Madison here to the law offices. So this will be your first interview. Would any of you like any tea or coffee?
Some coffee would be wonderful.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Coffee black, please.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
he calls out his assistant, and she takes your orders and so forth. And within a few minutes, you'll have some coffee or tea, whatever you wish, or water or nothing if you wish, and we can get that out for you. And while that's going on, Pickering brings out the caretaker. Again, this is Caleb Madison. He's wearing a cheap suit, obviously much, much cheaper than the one Mr. Pickering's wearing. If you look at the man's hands, it's pretty clear that the man is a manual laborer. He's an older gentleman. Also, Mr. Madison. He looks like he's maybe almost 60 years old or so. And it's pretty clear you don't really need a psychology roll or a spot hidden to notice that it looks like his nerves are kind of shattered here, that his eyes are kind of big, his hands are kind of shaking, his voice is kind of shaking. And so Mr. Pickering says, all right, Mr. Madison, could you please give these gentlemen an account of what happened? And Madison is like, uh, I remember seeing three dead men, they and a lot of blood, so much blood. They had stabbed each other and they had hanged each other and and their shirts, their shirts were soaked with blood. Their the one who was hanged, his eyes were bulging out of his head. Um, and but the image that stays with me more than any of this is that there was a severed human hand, and it was lying on the floorboards, and even though it was severed, the fingers were still twitching. It was uh, that's what I saw. That's what I found.
Let me ask you, was there a bag of loot on the floor?
Uh, no, sir, I didn't. I didn't see any loot. I didn't see anything. That's why I believe I told the police. I believe there must have been four burglars, not just three. And so the one must have killed the other three, and the surviving one must have run off.
Well, well, Mr. Madison, you said they were stabbed and hung. Were all of them hung, or just one of them hung? Can we get a little bit more clarification on that?
One of them was stabbed, and one of them was hung, and he was like hung up high with the rope around his neck.
That's
Uh,
how you hang
one
people.
was yeah, had his hands and feet chopped off,
Hands and feet.
and
So
was still
that's where the
twitching.
hand came from.
Yeah, I would think that the one that hung himself would have killed the others because typically you don't hang someone as a murderer, especially in a house you broke into. You would have to have the noose ready and
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Does
know. It was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Mr.
You don't expect to
Madison,
see something like that when you come into work.
oh, well,
so Mr.
understandable.
Madison, you saw this. Where were you just previous to this?
I just came in. I just came into the house on the in the morning, and I just found this.
What room is
So
this?
you didn't
It's
live. I'm sorry.
sorry, it was in the prop room. It was at the back of the house, where Memphis, where where he has a lot of his he keeps a lot of his props for his shows.
Hmm.
So
Actually,
you
hmm,
don't live on the premises then.
No, I don't live there. No, I work. I come into work
What
for
what time
Mr.
did you come in that morning?
I came in at 9 a.m.
what time did you
Uh,
finish the previous day?
Oh, um, I go home like in the evenings. I guess I went home around 6 p.m.
So, what do you do at the house for, was that 8, 9 hours if Mr. Memphis is not around?
Well, when he's not around, I don't come in every day.
Oh,
I
okay,
only
okay.
work
I was
certain
like,
days. I do gardening
mm,
around the house, and you can see his hands and things, and
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
just anything he needs me to do.
who cleans the inside of his house?
Hmm.
Um, so yes, I do that. I do the cleaning.
So you take care of pretty much everything. Who does the
Well,
cooking?
there is a cook. Her name is Marianne Hope. She only comes in like well, when Memphis is in there, he she comes in every day that he needs her to cook. But since he has been gone the last 6 weeks, she only comes in like maybe once a week, and she basically comes in to just maybe
Stock the refrigerator.
yeah.
Hmm, hmm.
So it's possible, I suppose, that these gentlemen murdered each other or were murdered by somebody just previous to your arriving, hence the twitching hand. Did the hand continue to twitch, or did it eventually
I think
stop?
eventually the first time I looked at it, it was twitching,
Hmm.
and then I didn't notice
A-
it after that.
And what did you do immediately afterwards?
I called the police.
Good choice. Hmm.
And they arrived shortly thereafter.
Yes, I think the police considered me to be a suspect at first because
Well,
they were like asking me all kinds of questions, kind of like you were, and they were thinking maybe that I had done the murder, but after they talked to me for a while, they didn't. They seemed to lose their suspicions and they didn't charge me with anything.
When was the last time you talked to Memphis?
Oh, it's been a while. It's been I think it's like 6 weeks or so since he's been gone.
Did he leave you any standing orders when he left?
No,
Not like
which is
look
odd
after.
because normally
Yeah.
when he goes away on tour, he does leave me standing orders, but this time he didn't leave me anything.
did he, what was he doing just previous to disappearing?
Well, uh, he had finished a tour, so he's kind of in his in-between period where you're not, as you would probably know, where you're not touring and you're working on new tricks and things of that nature. And that's kind of large. Basically it was rest and relaxation and just trying to come up with new material for his show, as far as I know.
Did uh, did he
Did he?
have any rivals?
That's what I was wondering.
Um, I'm not the one to ask on that. I don't really know.
Did he have any lady friends?
Mm, well, no lady friend that I saw other than Josephine Lynch, who's his I wouldn't call her a lady friend. She was his assistant
Assistant.
on the stage.
That's
She would come by from time to time, and then his daughter Ingrid would
Oh,
come by
daughter.
from time to time.
and her name was Ingrid
Ingrid
uh,
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Do you know if he worked on his tricks at the house, or did he have some other place where he worked on them?
Well, yeah, he did work at his house. He built in a theater. I mean, really
Yeah.
a stage where he can perform in the house. It's a very big mansion, actually. So yeah, it's got a stage and everything. It's pretty impressive.
Hmm.
Well,
Well,
Mr. Woodrow, just I have a vague suspicion. Your question made me wonder it too. I know you gentlemen are very competitive. Do you think perhaps one of Memphis's rivals might have paid some people to try to steal some of his tricks, and that's why they're in the prop room? Does that seem
well,
plausible?
it's true that we are all quite competitive, but we don't make all of our money from performances.
Mhm.
We also make money by inventing tricks and selling them to one another.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it doesn't seem very likely that a rival would murder or, get
Well,
rid of him.
was Memphis known for a trick that he didn't share with any of his compatriots? Is there a famous trick he
Oh,
had?
I'm sure he had some. We all have tricks that we perform alone. We usually perform them for a couple of years and then we sell them to
And then you
others
tell them. I
too.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Huh. Interesting.
but he could have had other kinds of rivals. That's why I asked about the lady friend.
Oh yes, romantic rivals, of
If he
course.
had, this could be as simple as a crime of passion.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Um,
I mean, do we
it could
really
also,
think that like I mean, he's been gone 6 weeks. How would he be even involved in these three men's death? I mean,
Well, I'm
I'm
guessing they figured out the place was lying empty and decided to rob it,
Ah, I see where you're going. Yeah, maybe his lady friend had a rival that she maybe mentioned it to.
right?
there's
Oh,
also
I see where you're thinking.
there's also another slightly interesting. We'll have to go there.
Hmm.
Hopefully they didn't clean everything completely up. Um,
Mm.
but I mean it wouldn't be beyond the notion for somebody to set up some booby traps. Yeah, that would be very effective. Um, although I'm sure Mr. Pickering would know if
Hmm.
there were booby traps because he wouldn't want to be caught.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
we'll have to go, part of this we'll have to go and see.
Well,
Um,
Mr. Mason is the groundskeeper and housekeeper. Were there any rooms you were warned not to go into or anything like that?
Madison.
Madison, yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, uh, you mean as a guest or for
No,
me?
when you're cleaning and working in the
Oh,
place, did he
no.
set traps? Did he say that some spaces were dangerous?
I've never seen any traps.
Okay.
I just clean the house like where he tells me to clean.
Okay.
And and maybe I missed it, Mr. Madison. How many days ago did this occur?
So I guess it would have been about 4 days ago.
4 days. Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. And then Pickering says, yes, the police closed the case very quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
Much of
I
the
just
investigation that
oh,
went
they'll
on
often do
there.
that, yeah,
I
to
wouldn't I
avoid
wouldn't mind.
any kind of scandal.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind maybe if I could see the bodies. Being a doctor and all, I might be able to. Con-
Mr.
Uh,
Madison,
yes.
after after the great Memphis disappeared, was any luggage or clothing also gone, as if he left?
Not that I saw. I
That's
mean, I
another
don't know,
thing.
but I didn't.
Well,
I have to say I wouldn't really know because I didn't like go into his bedroom and go through his closets or anything
you've
like that.
you've not been able to get into the house, or uh, you're not really since the murder occurred. Just to
No,
put
I
it
have
that
not been back.
way.
No.
I'm wondering if there's also, I don't remember what the legal term is, but I mean, imagine if you will, I don't know what his habits were, but Mr. Memphis the Great um, goes for a walk and has an accident, one in which he lands in a place that nobody will find his body for weeks.
Mm,
Um, misadventure, that's the
Hmm.
word. Uh, he could simply have gone drinking and ended up thrown into a dumpster. Or, I mean, that's a horrible thing to say, but it certainly is possible. People do go just missing. And if he didn't, we'll have to look carefully to see if there's
oh,
any correspondence or anything that might indicate that he was going to meet a lover or
Well, the
are
the
pay
are
assist.
you
somebody.
s-
Hmm?
are you still being paid, Mr. Madison? And if so, is it through like is Memphis the Great like
Mr.
incorporated?
Pickering, the law offices have continued to
Oh, okay, all right.
pay me, and I assume the cook on behalf of Mr.
Okay.
Memphis the Great.
Well, I assume that the house still needs to be upkept.
Yes, yes.
Even if it goes into probate, you don't want the house to start falling
Mhm.
apart.
Yeah,
Oh
so that's
yeah, I was just
basically what I
wondering.
do.
Like,
I was coming over a couple times a week and
I was just more curious if you were still getting checks signed by
no,
Memphis the Great. All
no.
right, but if you're being paid through the law firm, then okay. Hmm.
Is it you said it's a large mansion, 2 stories, 3 stories, basement?
Um, yeah, it's 2 stories. Although it 2 stories plus an attic. Um, and of course there's a basement as well. So
Huh.
Hmm.
Well, that's quite a mystery. uh, uh, Mr. Pickering, what
Yes.
you're bringing this into us? Is there any legal things that we should worry about if we go into the house and do any
Hmm.
investigation? I am a magician.
Not at all.
Theoretically,
Well,
I could be discovering some of his secrets.
Hmm.
yes. Yeah, so we do want you to go, we want you to investigate, to do whatever you need to do to investigate. Um, again, hopefully, just I don't know if there's a honor system among you stage magicians or not, just so I'll just have to trust you on this. Hopefully not to steal any secrets while you're doing your investigation. But you do have a legal right to enter the house. And in fact, he takes out a key and he hands it to you. And he says, "This is a key to Memphis's house." Now, what I do want to say is that I'm asking you to please treat my client's property with respect
Mhm.
during your
Oh,
inquiries.
of
Of
course.
course. Yeah.
Of course.
Um, and then he said, "Will you need anything else from Mr. Madison?"
I'll ask
No,
him,
but I
Oh,
has
mean,
Mr. Bluth?
there ever been an issue like this before with violence in the house?
No, never. Not like this.
Hmm.
Memphis isn't known for going off on his own for long periods of time in the past.
well, he's a performer, so he's definitely going to go off for months,
Y-
probably on end.
He might have gone off looking for inspiration for his next trick, but
Yeah.
he
Memphis
probably
was a world tourer. I mean,
oh,
he's been to Europe, unless somebody in the ether tells me otherwise.
No,
well, if you
he's
said they did, I wouldn't be
Pickering, but
surprised.
yes, Memphis. He's been to Europe. He's been to Asia. He's been all over the world.
I see. So,
Um, are you okay with us interviewing the assistant and the daughter? It might be useful to know
You can
possibly.
interview anybody that you think you need to interview. In fact, if you want to interview the daughter, probably the best case you can do this. Hold on a second. And he goes over. This is Pickering here, obviously. I don't know if
Yep.
you need anything else from Madison.
No, I don't think
Pickering pulls out 5 tickets and he hands each one of you a ticket. And he says, "These are tickets for tonight's show." Harold Hawkins is a stage magician. He was Memphis the Great's apprentice. And apparently he is engaged to Ingrid Schwartz, Memphis's daughter. And he's having a show at the Wilbur Theater tonight at 7 p.m.
Hmm.
You could watch the show,
Yeah.
and then after the show, you might be inclined to speak with Mr. Hawkins and Miss Schwartz.
Okay. Well,
that's
he's the
an
heir
excellent
apparent.
opportunity.
Do you know anything about the location of Miss Lynch at this point? Just as a secondary follow-up.
Um,
Does she have a contact address or anything that you get possession
yeah,
of?
they have a lot of information here, so yeah, he can provide you with an address.
Okay. All right. Huh.
Well, I'd like very much to go see the property and snoop around a little, if you don't mind me using the vernacular.
Well, you're welcome to do that. I've given you the key. It's up at this point, it's up to you. I've done about all I can on my end. I've hired you. I produced
Mhm.
the caretaker here for you to interview. I've given you a key. I've given you tickets to the show. From here on out, it's up to you. Whatever you think you need to do or where you need to go, then you can do that. If you need anything, if you need any help from me or my law offices, I will do my best to provide that for you. I do want to emphasize something though.
Mhm.
Um, I don't necessarily want you to locate Memphis. What I really want you to do is I want you to get to the bottom of the weird aspects of this burglary and murder
Okay.
before my client returns, which he may do for any day now, for all I know.
Do,
He has been gone 6 weeks now. It is unusual, but he has disappeared without notice in the past.
Oh, he has. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Nice.
Generally in pursuit of a rumored mystic or hardship or something like that.
hmm.
But yeah, so I just really want you to get down to the bottom of like what this burglary was at.
You want him to come back to a clean slate, basically.
Right. This
I
could be
see.
very bad
All
press
right.
if
I'm going to
it comes out
refocus
that
because
somebody
I
was
was
murdered in his
thinking
home.
his disappearance might be pertinent, or perhaps it isn't.
Right.
Okay.
You
So
have
that's why I'm
a.
asking you to please use discretion as
Oh,
Okay.
you.
of course, of course. Do you have a copy of the police report? I mean, if
I
we.
do not. I do not have a
Okay. All
copy of
right.
the police report. The Inspector Edwards at the Boston police at the police station would be the one to talk to.
Edwards. Edwards, you
Yeah,
said?
Edwards.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Police do not do a very thorough investigation. They really close that up fast, so that might not be much help at all.
Yeah,
From
but
their,
it would give us the name of the burglars. That could help us figure out
that's
who.
true.
If they know.
Yeah. If they
Um,
know. Hey.
do you have a sedan that you can lend us for driving around? Or do one of you have one?
Oh,
Not
I
on my
live here.
salary.
I have a vehicle.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Well,
live here, so I don't
Oh,
have
yeah,
one.
I do there. I can easily drive us around.
Mr. Cooper, you have the key?
thank you.
No, let's get to it.
All right.
Okay. All right. Does everyone want to think we should go to the mansion first, or should
I
I
mean,
drop some people off at other places?
daylight hours are a good time to investigate it. And what time?
Yes.
The show's at 7 or 8 tonight, so we've got a lot of
7
hours ahead of
o'clock.
us.
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
Vic, if you
let's-
have some friends at the precinct who might, want to talk to the
Um,
inspector or something. Do you have some agency
Uh,
connections with the police?
sure. I could see if they got anything for us.
Good, good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I mean, if they still have the bodies, if they haven't buried it in a potter's field yet, I'd maybe get
Oh,
a
yeah, it's been
look
4 days. You're right. They might have.
Yeah, 4 days. They might be already be
Yeah.
planted.
It's considering that they don't think that it's an ongoing investigation.
Yeah, I
Well,
doubt that they.
They don't look very hard when scumbags die. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let's head to the mansion first.
Okay.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing, all of you are going to the mansion?
All hands on
Yeah.
deck.
Okay.
At first.
All right. So the mansion is a little bit out of town. It's not like in downtown Boston. It is in a affluent suburb. So as you drive through some pines and maples, and you see some fancy mansions, that are around. So this is the rich part of town, and you arrive at the house at the address that you were given. And the house is a 1890s construction in the shingle style. And like
Practically
I said,
new.
it's pretty,
Yeah, it's a new dwelling. It's not old at
pretty
all.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you pull up in your car, there is you can make your way to the property, and then I guess you park in front of the house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you get out of the car and you begin to kind of walk and kind of make your way to the front door. And I'm going to ask all of you to make a power roll.
Oh
Oh,
no,
Okay.
this is the
wow.
shitty stat
Hey,
for
off
this
the
guy.
bat.
This is awful. Okay, here we go.
I got a 003. Wasted that already.
Fail.
I
But
got
you-
I
a.
got it.
When you have a 45 power, you fail a lot.
I fail also
Okay.
45
How'd you
pounds.
do, Mike?
Yeah.
I got a 15.
All right. So we have two fails. So the fails are the doctor and the private eye, Cooper and Moore. So when you approach the house, you both feel a moment of dizziness all of a sudden.
Oh.
Where you just kind of have a wave of nausea, and it almost kind of knocks you off your feet. And then all of a sudden, you kind of recover, and it's just kind of strange. It only lasts maybe like 2 or 3 seconds, but
Right,
it
yeah.
feels like it lasts longer than that, and it's just kind of disconcerting as you approach the house. You feel for a second like you want to throw up, and then all of a sudden you just kind of feel okay. It's like something.
Doc, I might be relapsing or something. Can you check me out? Fuck.
Of course. Well, just a second. Give
Oh
me.
my God, what the hell? I haven't
Oof.
felt that in
Don't fall off
years.
the porch.
Yeah. Must be felt like last time I took ether.
No, I don't want to take any more drugs. It's so hot in here.
Yeah.
The GM, how is the yard kept? Is it in good condition?
Yes, I will say that yes, the yard seems to be kept in. So if you're kind of looking at the yard,
I'm looking to see
anybody
if
have-
Madison's been doing his job.
I don't know if you have any skill in tracking, maybe if you want to kind of make a roll there.
I've got
I
10%.
actually do.
I'll even say spot hidden, I'll say. You could make a spot hidden or tracking, whatever's higher.
I pass actually both of them.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
you can put the check mark like wherever you want, I guess. Well, you notice, so you're looking, the amazing Woodrow is looking at the yard as you kind of approach, and you notice that it's kept up fairly well. But you notice something else. You notice that there are 3 sets of footprints that are in the dirt that are leading from the wall, kind of around to the rear of the house.
Hmm.
But there are
Those
no
the
footprints returning. They're only just going one direction.
I believe those are the footprints of our
Perpetrators.
3 perpetrators.
It would make sense that there'd be none coming back since they were
They didn't
carried
come
out
back.
of this house.
Let's see how they got into the house. Let's
Well,
follow
let's see, they went over the wall. Okay, yeah, let's follow their tracks. Exactly. Makes a good
Okay.
idea.
And you kind of follow the tracks. You kind of go around the veranda. There's a veranda, and then you kind of walk around to the back. And when you get to the back, nobody needs to make a spot hidden for this. This is kind of obvious to see. There is a boarded up window, which is just like in the back corner. So like the very back, the first window on the far, I guess you could say, kind of left side of the mansion is a boarded up window, and you see the footprints that are clearly leading up to it. There's a veranda, so you can go up these stairs and go and kind of go around. There's a covered porch, and there's also a back door that apparently kind of leads into there.
So they
Does it
came
look like
around the
the-
house.
Broke the window. Did the boards look recent? Like the
Yes,
caretaker put them up? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They broke the window.
Now, is
That's
it
what made-
a basement excuse me, a basement window or like
It is
first
not a
floor?
basement window. It's a
Okay.
window into the main floor.
Okay, all right, cool.
But the
Is
back
there
of
a-
the house. So
Is there an unbroken window?
Yes, there are 3 unbroken windows that are next
Okay.
to.
I want to look at the window because I want to know try to figure out why the burglars tried to decide that this is where they wanted to break in. So what do we see through the window?
Okay, very good. So you look through the window, and you can see that this is probably the prop room. And you were told
Mm,
when you asked, like,
there's
where
the
they were
prop room.
killed. They mention it here. You see a room with a bunch of boxes, paraphernalia of various kinds, fabric. You see some oversized playing cards, but you also see some, coils of rope and stuff like that in there. Yeah.
Well, if I was a burglar
From
and I wasn't here to steal props, do I see anything that would look valuable to me? Like, I don't see silverware. I don't
the
see.
You
house.
probably need to go in and take a closer look.
Yeah, okay, the whole
Maybe
house.
just
All right.
looking out the window, there's only so much you can see.
They
Right.
probably picked this
From
because it's the back of the house. You're not
Okay.
yeah,
All
down
right.
by the
All right.
street.
Sure.
from
Okay.
Mhm.
from this window where it's broken, looking around, uh, is the view blocked? No neighbors can see this spot. That's why they
No,
chose.
yeah, so no neighbors can really see this. The homes here are fairly spaced out,
Mhm.
Yeah, because they're
from one
rich.
home to another. So there's again, these are where a lot of rich folks live. This was in the 1920s. And so the houses are like not like right next door. So there's a lot of space. You might be able to, if you're on the front porch and you look like all the way across the way, you can see another mansion. But from the backyard, if you look behind you, you mostly just see like woods.
Even
Mm.
even from another property, looking at the front of the mansion, it would be very
Yeah.
small. You wouldn't be able to see much of
Yeah,
anything.
you don't really
Um,
see
Yeah.
it was
anything else.
the perfect place to, if they had watched it and knew that nobody had been here for
Mhm.
days. It's a good place to rob.
Good bet. Okay.
Mhm.
It's a shame they broke the window. They could have damaged the back door, but the window was probably easier.
Mhm.
Well, we know there wasn't four people though, so there's no way the police or the theory that someone else came and killed them
Yeah.
fits at all.
We see
Yeah.
three sets of
Yeah.
footprints. Um,
Going in and nothing going out.
And if they're going to have a fight, they wouldn't hang somebody as part of a fight.
well,
I mean, the doctor
that's
is
very
correct.
strange.
That makes no sense.
I think that
None.
the great detectives in the police department that were there just didn't know how anything could be possible. So,
Where was the body hanged?
but we'll go inside.
Yeah, let's go
That's
in.
probably hung from the balustrade on the second floor.
Inside.
Yeah.
Um,
But as everyone's
Let's go
going
back.
in, I want to
Let's go
take
back
a
around to the front.
picture. I want to look through the rangefinder of my camera at the upper story windows and snap a
Okay.
few pictures.
Yeah, you can do that. And if you have the photography skill and would like to roll on that, you may as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that's a regular success.
Okay. The thing about the photography skill is you don't really know like how good a job you did until you get the film developed. But yeah, but it was a good picture.
Just come out.
Not quite yet.
Not for a few decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it's a
That'd
good
be a
thing
nice
we came
trick, though.
here early in the day, so I'll have plenty of time to develop these in the dark
Yeah.
room.
Interesting.
All right. So you can use your key where say it opens the front and the back door both, and it fits, and there's no trouble getting into the house.
Okay.
So you come in, you're in a room, which is obviously the prop room. There is windows all the way around this. There is a door to the south. There's a door to the north, which you came through, and there is another door um, to the east. Inside of this room, as I said, there's lots of paraphernalia. I was describing some of it. Velvet fabric, oversized playing cards, coils of rope, bundles of silk handkerchiefs, and assorted magical apparatus around here. There are no dead bodies. Obviously, the bodies had been removed, but this is the place where you were told that the bodies were killed.
There's still the
You-
blood stains or chalk outlines.
there is some yeah, there are some blood stains around here. There are some chalk outlines. It looks like it's still waiting to be cleaned up. Apparently, the caretaker tells you that he has not been back in here since he discovered the bodies, so he didn't do it. And obviously, the police did a piss poor job of cleaning up the blood. So there's actually quite a bit of blood here. The room is not cluttered, but it contains many pieces of equipment as you as you look around. One thing you notice that there is a sword box. It's one of these boxes. The amazing Woodrow would be able to tell you about this because he's a stage magician. In fact, there's a lot of stuff in here. Thom, if you want to give me maybe a stage magician, your stage magic roll to see if you can kind of tell kind of what's going on here.
Yeah. It's my third 000 of the night. So
Oh my God. You got distracted by the quality of the silk scarves he has for the.
Well, I am using this set that I got that's purple, but it's the first time I've ever used it. But hey,
you need for a different game where 00 is good, like Mothership.
Yeah, but if you got 00 and a number
on a 00, you step on one of those silk hangers.
No, that'd be a 000. That'd be a 000.
And you fall down ass over tea kettle. You don't take any
it's. I got a 006
or anything like that.
I got a 007. 7.
Oh, I thought you got a double.
No, I didn't get a 000.
Okay. Okay. I thought you fumbled.
I was just saying it's the second
single
digit number that I got.
Okay.
Sorry. I always think 00 is 100.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the amazing one, the amazing Woodrow can tell you that this sword box is you put in an assistant is placed inside and the blades are thrust through the victim and they emerge mysteriously unharmed during a show and then the audience applauds and everything. But there were if you look around this box, there were 5 swords that look like they went into this box. You could tell where the swords had gone through.
There's slits,
and there's a lot of blood in here.
I was wondering,
and so forth. The holes are clearly visible. There's no spot hidden roll needed to see this. This is kind of obvious. They're visible in the plaster work, and they are soaked with blood.
So the one guy was stuck in the sword box and run through.
Yeah, and there's a chalk outline on the wall of somebody that looks like maybe they were you're guessing maybe pinned to the wall with a sword.
You know, the guy who lost. What's that?
I was going to ask about the swords. Okay.
Are there any guillotine tricks?
Yes, I'll get to that. Yeah, that's good. So there is an item again with your that you got an extreme success, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it extreme? Hold on.
Hope so.
Yes, it's under 12.
So I'm going to say with an extreme, you basically know what all this stuff is, basically, because it's an item called a wrist chopper, and the way it works, or it's supposed to work, it's a device with a hand-operated guillotine blade. And in the stage act, you slice vegetables with it to show that it works. But then a volunteer's wrist is locked into place. But when the blade is dropped again, it passes. It looks like it's passing through the participant's wrist, but it actually leaves them unharmed because there's like a little trick that's there.
Mr. Cooper, do you trust me?
Because there's a hinge section of the blade which moves up out of the way. However, there's a bunch of blood on this device, and it looks and you were told about a twitching hand by Caleb Madison.
As you see here, if this little knob is locked, then it will chop the vegetables. And if it's unlocked, it
Oh,
simply flips up.
so it
So-
could
But it
chop the
happens so
hands.
quickly that people watching don't realize that you
So-
haven't chopped right through.
Is there a trick with hanging people though? I've never heard of a trick like
I don't know
that.
about
Well,
that, but
yeah, I mean,
the
what do you
swords
think?
too.
Yeah, what do you think these jackasses were just like, oh, let's try out some of these tricks and chop their
So-
hand
No,
off? I
no, I
mean,
don't think. I think somebody did it to them.
yeah.
They're designed to be frightening. So,
Mhm.
there's no danger as long as the magician is doing the trick.
Mhm.
The swords themselves are pointy, but they're not particularly sharp. Um, and a good assistant, Miss Lynch, for
Lynch.
instance, she's probably quite lithe. Um, she can fit into the box and simply avoid the swords by contorting her body as they come through. Um, Somebody who didn't know how to do that would simply be skewered.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, ooh, it seems dangerous.
We might actually even get to the whole cutting somebody in half, which you asked about, Mr. Dr.
Not volunteering for that. Not volunteering.
Mhm.
It's hard to do with just one person. I'll give you that hint.
Oh,
Yes, all of these are pretty standard magic tricks. Do you suppose he was hung from
Yeah, so
gold?
the rope, there is there is a pot and rope, which immediately Amazing Woodrow would know. This is for what is
The
called
Indian.
the Indian rope trick.
Indian
Oh,
rope trick.
right. Okay, there had to be some connection. Okay.
Now
Um,
that's an interesting one because if it's done correctly, if it's done in the proper way, then he's got some sort of mechanism in the basement which inserts a long, probably steel rod up through the rope so that the rope looks like it's suddenly standing. Man can then climb the rope. It's
Yes.
interesting.
So yeah, it looks like um the pot is like was kicked over, so it's and the rope was tied uh to the central chandelier.
Ah,
And that's kind of what you
gorgeous
notice. There's
chandelier.
also, I don't know if you've heard of this, like a zigzag girl trick where you
Yes.
stack
Oh,
these
the-
three boxes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's wacky.
That's once
Huh.
again just a matter of contortion.
yeah.
It's
Uh,
very spectacular from the front, but
From the back,
from
not
the
so
back,
much.
yeah.
So you can find the swords, the rope, and the guillotine device all here, and there are police tags on them. So they have been noted as evidence, but they were not removed from the house. They're still here.
Mhm.
And the police seem to
Um,
have left rather abruptly. At least, thank God, they took the bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you said the rope was tied to the chandelier. How high up is the chandelier? Because, like, I'm picturing
This
chandeliers
is a
are.
mansion, so it's probably got 9 foot ceilings.
Okay, yeah. So,
Would have been a chore getting that up there.
yeah. I mean, how could he? I mean, I figured he killed himself. I mean, is there a ladder or like?
Not that you see.
Hmm.
May I suggest that these men were killed,
Mhm.
and it was with the purpose of creating this mystery, because
Oh, of
somebody would have had to have done this to them.
course.
And since there's only 3 sets of footprints, it would have had to have been somebody already here
Correct.
Mhm.
or somebody who came here in another manner, but most likely somebody who was already here.
Mhm.
He could have drugged them, I suppose, and
That's
then
one possibility.
done these
But
things
like
to them.
a H.H. Holmes kind of character. He gets
Yeah.
people into his house and it's like a murder mansion. It's
I think
crazy.
it would be
That's him.
Memphis. none of these things would require somebody knowing how they worked. They weren't
Right.
performing a trick. They were using them as murder weapons.
Yeah.
Is
As
his
we're having
action?
this conversation,
Yeah.
all of a sudden the blade on the wrist chopper, the guillotine blade, all of a sudden just goes down and snaps loudly right while
Wow.
you're having this conversation.
That I
What caused that?
Could it
That's
have
making
just
me
been
nervous.
know
Did
what
you-
caused that.
Did you not
Nick.
lock it in position properly, Woodrow?
Well, it's not really locked in position. I mean, it was up, but
Well,
If you
I suppose
examined
it
it,
could've
it was locked into position. I mean, it was
Okay.
locked. If you
this
examined
is a new house, right?
Couldn't have
This
done
is only 30 years old.
well,
Do we know if Mr. Memphis had this built?
I mean, this is Boston. There could be another property on here before, and it's
Oh, okay.
new house. It's not a
Yeah.
new property or
Not-
area. Okay, let's not get overly excited. Sometimes there's a spring that just happened. You know,
I
it didn't
see.
quite
Okay. All
place,
right.
or we should probably explore the rest of the house and see if there's any.
Are we
Okay.
thinking there's
letters
a
from lovers.
murderous individual in the premises, though?
No, I don't think so.
But
These
he was
are
here to
wooden
kill.
floors. They would creak. Don't you think?
But if he or she or they killed these three robbers,
I'm sorry.
are they
this
still
is-
around? Yeah. Is there a murder on the premises still?
I think we'd hear the creaking floors.
Well, I'm just saying we should explore the house, but we should not split up into groups of smaller than two, lest we get ambushed by this fellow if he's around still.
We're not little girls. We're full-grown men, sir.
Well, these three men here were full-grown men too.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's a-
I don't move as
that's
fast as I used to. I'm not sure I
Well,
would want
it's-
to entertain a fight with a strong and fast person at this point.
I would like to go up and look through the man's correspondence
Okay.
and see if he had someone involved. They did bring up the Mr. Harold Hawkings, an
Yeah, the heir
apprentice.
apparent. Yeah.
So he was teaching
Yeah.
someone how to do the tricks. It's really not that much teaching involved. It's just, it's like acting. I have a lot of actor friends in Hollywood. Acting is, to be honest, it's about one step above prostitution.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Hand them money and they'll do anything you ask.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So, and unfortunately, so is magic. It's just
Oh, this
tricks.
is terrible. You're destroying all my illusions, sir. This is awful.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just tricks. It's the real world. There's no such thing as magic.
Do magicians ever go squirrely? Do they ever go mad?
Probably not.
No? Okay.
They probably just make as much money as they can and then go retire in beautiful houses like
Yeah.
this.
Mm.
I mean, we're performers. We're circus acts. If you
Wow.
Mm.
I want to see if I can find the basement because lots of time people
Okay.
will store
Well,
stuff down in the basement.
at this point, because you're talking about maybe going to other areas, there are only, other than the door you came in from that leads back to the backyard, there are two doors that you see. One door goes to the south, and then the other door goes to the east. If you look to the west, you see windows that show you the side that look outside, and then if you look to the north, there's a door going out, and then there's windows, including the broken one that's boarded up.
So the east is to the front of the house, then. Is that it?
The south is to the front of the house.
The south
yeah.
in that
Yeah,
direction.
you are in the back of the house. So you enter through the you enter through kind of the southernmost point of the house is like the front door,
Okay,
and the
I'll
northern
go.
house is the back door.
I'll go east and see if Virgil or Vic want to join me.
Hey, I'll join you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hammer. So
And as we're walking through, this talk about maybe the killer still being there, made me think about checking the dimensions of the rooms, like eyeballing everything to make sure maybe there's not a secret hidden room or something in the
Yeah.
house.
Um, so as
That's
far
what I
as the
was.
dimensions of the room are concerned, it's about 30 feet long and maybe, so that's about 10 yards and then about maybe like 10 yards wide. So this is a pretty
Okay.
big room. It's a big mansion.
Mm.
Mr. Hammer,
But
you're
you
looking
don't, it
for
doesn't look like anything's hidden, like there are any hidden rooms or anything in this
Mr.
area of the
Hammer,
house.
you're looking for secret passages, perhaps?
Yeah, it could be just a Hollywood invention, but
It's
weirder
harder to
things have
realize
happened.
than you might think. Yes.
Uh,
All right, so we have Dr. Moore and Vic are headed east. How about the rest of you?
Going
I'm
up
gonna
Was
the
yet?
stairs. So I'm going to
stay.
the front of the house and then up the stairs.
All right.
Oh, so you're going all the way around to the front of the house?
No, I'm going through the door that's heading towards the front of the house,
Okay,
the
gotcha.
south door.
Okay, how about Virgil?
I'm gonna stay in that room, and I get a weird feeling from the guillotine. So while the our resident magician was explaining everything, I'll be following him and taking pictures. But once the guillotine slams, I'll just say to Amazing Woodrow, "You are the expert of sleight of hand here. Do you think these deaths could have been caused by the house or some energy within?"
Ghosts? I don't believe in ghosts, Mr. Bluth. Uh, I think that somebody would have had to have murdered these boys.
That's
And
what
they
I'm worried
use
about.
these tools to do it.
I'm not so
Um,
sure.
they would like
I,
you to believe that it's something else, but
I will keep
as far as
looking.
as far as I know, there has never been a case in all of human history where a ghost has become the culprit in a murder.
Hmm.
So there's somebody, probably an ex-lover, probably Mr. Hawking's a jealous apprentice.
I
He wants.
wonder, these three people who died, were they hired to rob the place, or is it possible they knew the owner of the house beforehand?
That's a good question.
Maybe the murderer set them up.
hmm.
And our friend Mr. Madison said there was no bag of loot.
Hmm. That's true. They could have been invited for some other pretext.
Well,
Well, they weren't invited. They came through
Yeah.
the window.
Well,
I want to hang back in this room and maybe
Oh.
whatever's closest to this room and see if there is any more signs of sabotage or guillotine booby traps that we might walk into. I feel like we're walking into the Saw house, basically.
Okay.
Right?
mhm.
I'm going really slow.
Okay.
I'll point to a couple of things and say, Mr. Bluth, sharp, sharp, semi-sharp, sharp. Keep your fingers at bay.
Is there anything safe back here?
It's supposed to be frightening.
Ah.
In the hands of a magician, you'll be perfectly safe.
Hmm. I'm worried about the hands of a magician.
Okay, so Lionel and Vic are going east.
Yep.
Woodrow's going south. Virgil is staying in the prop room. And Carl, what are you doing?
Well, I have this moment where I look between Virgil and Woodrow trying to figure out who's more likely to get killed by a lurking murderer. Virgil, you look like you have some survival instincts, don't you?
He just doesn't say anything because the answer is no, but he's not going to say that.
Right. Well,
He's a city boy. He just doesn't admit that.
and I'm looking at Mr. Wilder, and he looks like he would blunder into a dragon's den and not even realize it. So I'm flipping a coin. I'm following Mr. Wilder just in case.
Well, I'm going to look at the correspondence.
Yes, that's fine. Virgil, don't hesitate to yell, please.
Okay. All right,
I
so
would also suggest to all of you that if you're frightened and you run, to put your hand like this as you're running.
Oh, you're thinking of Fenno the Opera.
Well, I'm thinking of the
The
fact that
nooses. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the musical that hasn't been written yet that you're
No,
talking
but
about.
the story has been written.
Oh, maybe it has. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
in the story. No, magicians sometimes use very fine wire,
Oh.
and I wouldn't want you to garrote yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I want to keep what's
Or else
left
it
of my
probably
nose.
would cut off your hand.
Jeez.
I'm familiar with many kinds of illusions. This place could be full of smoke and mirrors.
all right, so we're splitting up three ways.
Mhm.
Uh, Lionel and Vic, you go through your door to the east, and the amazing Woodrow and Carl head through the south door with the intent of trying to find a way to the front of the house to
Yep.
find the staircase. Meanwhile, Virgil stays in the prop room. Let's start with Virgil, and then we'll go to the other players after that. So, Virgil, tell me exactly what you like, kind of what you're doing in this room, in this prop room.
So 50% he's keeping an ear out for anyone who might be in danger and will make sure
Okay.
they can find the way out. So
Sure.
assisting. But just taking close, detailed pictures of all the props, seeing if there's anything that looks damaged, or again, searching for like booby traps in doorways, stuff like that, and
Okay.
clearing rooms as slow as possible. Checking the floorboards for loose floorboards, that sort of stuff.
So you can make a spot hidden.
I'll spend a little luck to make that a regular. To spend 13 points. I don't have too much luck. I'll spend it. Got a 42 luck.
How much luck did you spend?
13.
13. You know what? It's probably not worth it. You probably don't need to spend that much.
Okay.
But what happens when you're looking around the room? You do notice that there's a canvas bag, and inside the canvas bag there are the swords. There's 5 swords in there. The swords are they got the police tags on them. And there's blood on the ends of the swords. So, as Virgil, as you are examining the canvas bag with the swords in them, you look over and you see the coil of rope that was hanging from the ceiling has now become untied, and it has now raveled across the floor like a snake. It's the rope was sliding just a few feet further than what seemed natural. Um, as you see this, uh, you also you also feel like you're drained. You also lose 2 magic points. But that's you, the player knows that mechanically you lose 2 magic points. For Virgil, you just feel like you're being drained, you feel fatigued, and you're not really sure like where that's coming from.
Yeah, I try to take a picture of everything as fast as possible.
Okay. So, what specifically do you want to take a picture of next?
So the rope was moving. I'll take a still photograph of the moving rope.
Okay. So we had you roll a photography roll earlier, and you got a regular success. So we're just kind of use that here. So you get a picture, and you think it's a good picture of the rope. And then after you're done looking at this, you're kind of looking around the room, and you turn around and you look back at the canvas bag that had the swords in them. And the canvas bag has been cut to shreds, and the swords are laid out like across the prop room. And at this point, I'd like you to give me a sanity roll.
Backing away slowly. Ooh, terrible failure.
Okay, it's just going to be just 1 point, but yeah, it's going to be something that's unnerving.
I'm
All
backing
right.
away and holding the camera up almost defensively and just trying not to get killed.
Yeah, you don't see the swords moving. It's just like when you're looking at the rope and you're looking at the swords, they don't move, but it's like when you look away, it's like they're doing stuff.
Ah, I see.
Okay, let's go ahead and shift now to some of the other players. Um, so so Dr. Lionel Moore and Vic Hammer went through the east door.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and go for you guys next. You walk through the door and just open the door. I guess you go through, and it's very clear that you're in a theater. This
Oh,
is like a home theater that obviously, I guess you would assume Memphis the Great had built. You might recall that George Pickering kind of mentioned it, like when you were asking your questions earlier. The room
hmm.
actually occupies 2 stories. So it's not just
Oh,
so it goes up very, very high. Um, it looks like it's probably wasn't part of the original house design. This is something that maybe the great Memphis himself decided to put on here, sacrificing rooms on the first and second floor so that he could have this home theater here. As you look around, there are heavy drapes that line the theater's exterior walls. There's a theatrical stage. The stage takes up about 50% of the room's width, and it's raised about 3 feet high off of the ground. There's a slight incline toward audience space. And again, if you just kind of look around the room, the audience space has room for about 4 or 5 rows of chairs, but these are currently stacked to the side against the
okay.
wall.
All right.
And well, the other thing that I'll mention that you can see is behind the audience space, there's a massive mirror,
Hmm.
uh, kind of like the kind you might expect to be found maybe in a dance studio.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it occupies the entire wall. And remember, this isn't just 1 story. This is like two
Yeah.
stories
It's
here.
huge. I was like,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
So what do you guys do as you walk into the theater?
Well, well, Vic, I wasn't expecting to find a theater in a private residence, that's for sure.
No kidding. This is neat. How much do you think this big mirror cost? That'd be
Uh,
expensive.
my appraise. Well, I'd appraise that probably more than my house costs. I mean, just to move something that large. I mean, is it like
Oh, dang.
one sheet of glass or is it in like sections?
It's probably going to be in sections. It would
Okay,
probably just
yeah,
be
but
too
still,
bulky
it's
just to
still
move in
still a
one.
lot.
But yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, there any other obvious doors in here?
Yes, as far as doors are concerned, there is also a door. There's the stage. There's 4 windows on the east wall.
Okay.
There's no windows to the north and south, and there is a door to the southwest.
Okay.
So there's actually 2 doors coming into this room. Yours is the door on the northwest. That's the door you entered from, and then there's another door exiting south to the southwest.
Okay. All right. Uh, yeah, I'll go. Yeah, it's just kind of a big open air thing. I'll go up to the stage and just kind of push myself and hop up onto it.
Okay.
Mhm.
You hop onto the stage. How about you? What is Vic doing?
Yeah, I'll go up. Oh, are there like curtains, like a backstage area, or is this just a stage
No, there's no
itself?
backstage area. It's just one room.
Okay,
It's just one room. It's connected. Like I said, one door comes from the prop room.
okay,
And then there's a stage, which is about half the width of the room, a little bit less than half of the of the length.
all right. Um, yeah, I'm gonna look for trapdoors or anything up here. You know, sometimes magicians use those in their tricks.
Are you going up on the stage?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so you're both on the stage. Go ahead and give me spot hidden rolls.
Okay.
Okay.
95. I doubt that's a pass. That is not a pass.
Yeah.
52 out of 50. I can spend the 2 luck.
Go for it. I'm not going to spend
So,
the 40 some low.
yeah. Yeah, I'll just spend the 2 luck.
Okay. Um, yeah, typically you would need like a hard spot hidden to find the trapdoor, but since you specifically said you were searching for trapdoors, I'm going to say that you just need a regular. So you actually do find a trap door. It is well concealed.
Hmm.
Now, Dr. Lionel,
Hmm.
unfortunately for you, there are actually two trapdoors up here. And your roll wasn't so good. And as you're walking, the trap door suddenly opens beneath you. You can make a jump
Oh,
roll to avoid falling down this trap door.
Oh, jump. Okay.
oh, boy. If I see him falling, can
Hey,
I
I
assist
pa-
him?
I passed actually.
Okay,
I
excellent.
go
Oh,
regular.
So yeah, so you're able to jump away just in the nick of time and get that check mark for jump.
Oh
So
yeah.
nobody takes any damage, but it was kind of strange that the trapdoor just suddenly opened, like right when you were over it.
I mean,
Um,
I am a larger man. I mean, maybe, like me just walking on any little I don't know how these magicians do this, but whatever they had for the little trip there, maybe I'm a heavier man than old Memphis was, and I just kind of popped it
yeah,
you
loose.
all right,
But
man?
yeah. I mean, a little startled. Um, I'll kind of look down. I assume it doesn't go too far down because, I was able to climb up onto the
no,
stage.
if you look down, it's just 3 feet down, and it just
Hmm.
kind of goes down. It's hard to see
Yeah.
because it's dark, but 3 feet isn't too far where you couldn't see the bottom.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to kind of, slide down there and kind of look around
Yeah.
real quick. I mean,
Okay.
I,
Yeah. You can slide down there and you look down, and it looks like there's nothing that goes below the 3 feet as far as that you can tell. It's just like
hmm
it's just 3 feet of area underneath the stage, and
Okay. Yeah.
you don't really find anything down there.
All right. I'll hop back out. I was like, huh,
Yep.
wonder if he did any performances here. If this is just where he tested out his new tricks. Hmm.
At this point, the house lights in this room abruptly go out, and the curtains, those curtains I mentioned, which were open, all of a sudden they sweep closed,
Hmm.
and you guys are in pitch black at this point.
Oh, careful, Vic.
Yeah,
D don't step in that hole. Where
yeah.
you at? Where
Thanks.
you at, man?
Right here, I tap the stage like with my foot. I'm over
Um,
here. What the hell?
oh man, fault. I don't know. Fault. Well, I mean, faulty blinds. We explained why the lights went out, but the curtain shut. It's like I'm just gonna kind of make my way over to the wall and put my hand on the wall. And what I'm trying to do is kind of go over to where the windows were, and so I can open the curtain back up to get light back in here.
Yeah, so you're going back to the back wall, and of course that would be like excuse me, toward the west wall. Sorry, toward the east
Hmm.
wall. And
Okay.
as you're doing that, you hear all of a sudden, um, sounds like in the theater that there's an audience in the theater, like they're waiting to be entertained. Um, and uh, and yeah, you hear somebody out there.
Hey, Carl, Woodrow, that you? Virgil, Virgil.
Yeah, no response. Like they can't hear you, and yeah, and you get no response.
Hey, and I'm trying to keep my voice from shaking. I'm like, hey, Vic, I don't think we're gonna find anything else in here. Let's go out that other door. You think you can open it up so I got some light so I can see where I'm at? I've got myself.
Yeah, yeah. Give me a second here. Gotta find it. Yeah, I'll open up the other door then.
Okay. Well, right now you're on the stage, so you have to get off the
Yeah.
stage
Oh,
and then
okay.
go
I'll
over
hop
and
off the
answer the
stage then,
door.
and
And as you
I'll hop
try to
off.
walk off the stage isn't that big. It should take you just a few seconds to walk off the stage. But you're walking in the direction and you're walking and you're walking and you're walking and you're not getting off the stage. And it seems like it's almost extending indefinitely.
Hmm.
In any direction that you walk, and a spotlight hits you, and the spotlight begins to follow your path as you walk.
Uh, who the hell's operating this thing?
I don't know, but at least we've got some light. Um, I'm going to try and get off the
Hey
stage
man.
then.
Yeah, you're still
Yeah.
trying to walk off the stage, and you're not able to make it, and you start to hear these jeers and these boos, like the audience that's watching you is like, woo, they're really jeering you. And then after a period, the spotlight on you fades, and for a brief glimpse, you can see the audience, and the audience is like a twisted mob of not humans, of these deformed, toothy fiends. But you only get a
Uh,
brief glimpse of it. Then all of a sudden, finally, the whole stage jerks beneath you, and you're both knocked off of your feet.
Hmm.
And then
What
as
the
you get
hell?
up, the curtains open, the lights come on. You look to see the chairs that the audience was sitting in, and the audience members are gone. The chairs are all stacked over on the
Uh,
side like they were before, and it looks like the room has returned to normal again. And I'm going to need both of you to make sanity rolls.
What?
um,
That's a fail.
How do you
hold
do
on a
that?
second. This went off the thing. Hold on.
Okay, so for this one, it's a zero
That
sanity if you
failed.
pass, but it's
Okay.
going to be a 1d6 if you fail.
Oh,
Oh
ouch.
joy. Yeah, ow. That's brutal.
Three, three.
Okay, so you
Oh,
lose 3. How did you do, Vic?
I failed. Uh-oh.
It's going to be 1d6.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my dice out. Not cooperating. 3. Oh boy.
Okay.
I lost 3.
Yeah, so you both lose 3, and you're able to
My,
get off the stage at that point and go out the door just like you wanted to.
yeah, I'm like going, you know, fuck that theater, man. It's like something's going on there. You must have some gas or something, but it felt very real to me.
Yeah, that stage seemed like it would never end.
Yeah, it was like
What kind of
you ever had one of those dreams where you're running in a hall and the hall just keeps stretching? That's what it felt like.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it is with this place, as if it wasn't creepy enough. But when the lights went out, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's this.
Okay, so let's change scene again, and let's go to the amazing Woodrow and Carl. The
Sounds like we have a team together.
the amazing that could be a sitcom or something. The amazing
Sure.
Woodrow and Carl. Or
Woodrow and
Carl
Carl.
and
Yeah.
there you
Okay.
go. So you guys take the door to the south, and you guys find the kitchen. Um,
Oh,
and in the kitchen, let me kind of describe this very quickly as you move through it. It's just a common kitchen as far as you can tell, just kind of a central hub. There's a small table here that looks like maybe it's for informal meals. Uh, um, all the kind of the cabinets and everything just seemed all to be closed at this point, all the cupboards.
mhm.
Uh, so nothing really strikes you here. Now I'll tell you what you see. Of course, the door behind you goes back to the prop room.
Mhm.
There's a door when you come through on your immediate left, that is going, who knows where.
Mhm.
There is a door to the
Mhm.
southwest. There's a door to the southeast. There's a door to the southeast. There's two doors. One is to the south, and the other is to the east.
Mhm.
And then if you walk straight, there's a rotunda um, with a spiral staircase going up, and then you
Ah,
also see
Okay.
if you look ahead, it looks like there's the front door as well.
so what do you
Are
think
there,
his office is upstairs? What, don't you? Is that what the idea?
oh, probably, yeah, that's the idea. We'll go upstairs. Are
Okay.
there any windows in the kitchen?
Yes, there are windows to the west. Um, and there's a few other rooms in here. There's like there's a bathroom. There's a there's a cloakroom.
Probably
There's
a
a
pantry.
pantry,
Pantry.
and there's one window. Uh, yeah, to
Does
the
does the kitchen seem as if um Memphis left suddenly and there's stuff out, or is it clean and
No, I
our
mean, it looks
groundskeeper
relatively
here?
clean. Now, as a reminder, you do know that the caretaker that you interviewed said that
Mhm.
he and a cook did come here, not every
That's
day,
true.
but periodically to keep the place
Ooh.
clean, so forth.
So it's clean.
Woodrow,
Okay.
let's check the cloakroom before we go by, because if it was a sudden disappearance, his main jacket and coat might be there. Let's take a look
He
just
might
real
have
quick.
owned more than one, but yes, we can look.
But I bet you he has a very flashy one, something like that. Someone like that probably has one. Is there, what's in the cloakroom? Is there any like big
Yeah,
jackets or?
there are, yes. So you check the cloakroom, and it does look like there are some, yeah, there's some coats, jackets in here. Yeah.
Okay, just doing a typical PI type thing. I'm going to check pockets to see if he's got any tickets or paperwork or anything they jammed into one of the pockets, or inside
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't really find anything.
Okay, just to okay. Let's go upstairs, I guess.
No.
So, Woody, do you have a place like this of your own back home? Do you have like a mansion? Is that like a
I
magician
have a
thing?
fairly nice place, yes, but LA is a bit more expensive than out here.
Oh, right. So it's hard to get a
A bit
big
more for
big
your
spot.
Let me
bigger
give
bang
you a
for your
spot
buck.
hidden on the cloakroom really quick. There's one piece of
Okay,
it you might be able to get.
I'll have an okay spot hidden. Regular success.
Okay. You do detect a particular jacket, which seems like it's well worn.
Oh, this is probably his favorite. Okay. Anything in that in particular?
Nothing in it in particular, but it is hanging in the closet.
Okay. Anything
Uh,
about it that's of interest in terms of its shape or design?
Other than the fact that it looks fairly well worn, and some of the other coats and jackets in here look like they're not worn
Now,
as
because it's a
Something he would.
magician's outfit, it might have more secret pockets than you'd expect. So, Woody, help me check this just in case.
I'll Woody.
I'm sorry, Woodrow. I'm taking familiarities. I've only known you for a little while, and I've already calling you a nickname.
That's okay. It just was unexpected. Um, yeah, we can take a look. I doubt seriously, though, that he would use this for performance of any kind. So uh, it's probably just something he found comfortable and you wore
His
around the
fave.
house.
Yeah. Okay. So nothing unusual about it. I'm even actually going to check the fabric to see if there's any stains or marks or chemicals or hairs or anything. It's just matter of course.
Yeah, you probably find some hairs, in there. Yeah.
Lady hairs.
It's just an old.
Yeah, you're right.
Lady hairs are so much.
Hey, a
different
rabbit
than
hair. Look at that.
It probably
I
could
am
be.
going to sort of look around the cloakroom though and see if it looks like there's any suspicious paneling or.
No,
I don't expect it. But
no.
it's the kind of stuff you find in Sherlock Holmes tales, but you're not going to find it in real life.
No, I still look though. I want to find stuff like
that. Let's head on upstairs.
Okay.
Okay, so you head straight to the rotunda. This is an airy circular space. If you look, when you get to the rotunda, if you look up, it goes up 3 stories.
Ooh, wow.
It rises to the height of the house. There's actually a skylight that is set in the roof that you can see about 3 stories up. It's a spiral staircase and it runs around its perimeter.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very expensive. I mean, this obviously he spent a lot of money.
Is it marble or is it like carved wood or what are we talking?
Yeah, let's say it's marble. Yeah.
Oh my, this man is way wealthier than he has any
He's
right
rich.
to be.
He's well known. He's well known. Yeah. I believe Houdini, this is 27. Houdini, I think, died in 26 or something. So this Memphis the Great, he has a reputation as being one of the best in the world at what he does. The spiral staircase, so you're gonna go up to the 2nd floor, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. As you ascend the staircase between the 1st and 2nd floor, you notice that there are these portraits that decorate the walls, and there are images of various people on these portraits.
Oh, is that the man himself?
Yep. You would know this to be Memphis the Great or Axel Schwartz. You don't have to make a roll to know this. You just simply know this because he's famous, right?
Yeah, right.
And you kind of know who you're looking for. You also see.
Is that his daughter?
Yeah. Oh. And then you also see another guy.
Oh,
bow tie that looks like that.
Is that the apprentice? Look at the sneer on this guy. Oh my goodness.
They're all looking rather odd, I would say.
Yeah, but I think this guy's trying to sneer his nose inside his face. He's sneering so hard.
And so those are just some of the examples of some of the portraits that you do see. And you ascend the stairs. In addition to that, let's see. Yeah, you kind of, like I said, you make your way up the stairs, up the rotunda, and it stops at a 2nd floor, and then the stairs continue to go up.
All right. Well, I mean, we don't know where his office would be.
But seems 2nd floor seems more likely, though, doesn't it? Just as a matter of course.
Depends on how cold the house gets in the winter. He might want it high up, but we're at the 2nd floor. We might as well see what's here.
Okay.
Might also be attached to his bedroom, which would be convenient.
Yep. Check that.
Okay. So at this point, you're getting off at the 2nd floor, and let's go ahead and switch back. Let's go back to Virgil. So Virgil, where we left off with you were in the prop room. It looks like The rope's doing some weird stuff. The swords are doing some weird stuff. What is Virgil doing at this point?
So you said whenever no one is looking, these props seem to move. So as I'm starting to understand that, I'm just observing very quietly, and I'm sure that even though we all split up, there's more rooms to search. So I'm gonna go maybe look for the entrance to the basement if there's one. I don't know if there's a basement.
Okay. There doesn't appear to be an entrance from the basement in the prop room.
No, I'll go to another room. I'll start walking around.
Okay.
I don't have a
Um,
map, so
sure. So, if you just take the southern door, you're in the kitchen. So you spent some time in the prop room. So by the time you get to the kitchen, the amazing Woodrow and Carl have already left, probably by that point.
yeah, so as
Um,
I'm seeing signs that people have come through here, I want to go somewhere no one has gone yet.
yeah, you can probably hear Woodrow and Carl's footsteps headed up the stairs at the rotunda. So that's probably within earshot of you.
Okay.
But yeah, so there is a door to your immediate left when you come into the kitchen.
I'm an investigator. I gotta go and investigate the unknown. So I'll search
Okay.
out the new room.
All right. You do open that door, and as luck would have it, it looks like it is a door to the basement.
There you go. Yeah, I just sort of look at the door and I'm getting a really bad feeling about it. So I want to listen very carefully.
Okay. While you're doing that, a door opens, another door opens in the kitchen to the bottom left, and coming in through the door are Vic and Dr. Lionel, having just come out of the coming out of the stage room. And Vic and Dr. Lionel, you guys go through that door in the
Hmm.
south. There were two doors in the
Yep.
theater. The one you came in from the prop room, and the other that you exited in. And that door is the kitchen. And when you
Okay.
enter the kitchen, you can see Virgil, who has opened the door to the basement, and you can probably also hear the amazing Woodrow and Carl ascending the stairs.
Okay. I'm probably a little on edge, so when I went through there, I saw someone looking into the basement, probably a straw. Oh, whoa. Oh, oh, it's you, Mr. Bluth.
I'm like
Virgil. Hey, mm,
I'm
uh,
like 7 feet tall, so definitely wouldn't be somebody you want to walk in on
oh
alone
yeah, I
in
forgot
the
you're
dark.
uh,
He's a
uh,
freak.
oh, we're uh, going into the basement?
There are many spirits trapped in this house, I believe,
Oh, you
Mr.
should go.
Dr.
You should go
Lynn.
into the theater.
Yeah, yeah. You want to see some spirits? Theater. He's got that all rigged up to the spirit. Yeah.
Just point to the basement, and I'll say the attic is like the heart of the house, but the basement, perhaps it's a graveyard. Something is very wrong in this place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna look through the kitchen then. I don't need to be. I spent enough time near graves and all. You have fun down there, Virgil.
Doctor, we are not here to find the missing magician, are we? We're only here to investigate the death of those men.
Yeah.
I have seen things that may suggest that they were killed by the props in this prop room next to us.
Okay.
All by themselves.
They move by themselves. So, well, I mean,
Yeah.
you sh
Spirits or magic, I don't know.
Well, then let's finish our sweep of the house so we can get the heck out of here and you know, file a report. I don't like this place and makes me feel like I wasted 7 years in medical school because I can't afford something like this either. And with that, I'm going to start looking through some like the pantries or the cabinets just a real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. Okay. And Vic, what are you doing?
Uh, Checking out the ice box, just poking around. There's another room. There's another door off the kitchen, right? Other
Yes,
than
there's a couple extra doors. There is a door. Well, there's the door you came through. The other door, you pretty much know where the theater door and the prop room door and the basement door is.
Mhm.
There's a rotunda, and then there are two other doors. There's a door to the southeast and a door to the southwest.
I'm gonna go check this door over here to the southwest.
Gotcha.
If you don't hear from me, something probably got me.
You got one guy talking about graveyards, the other guy not
Okay.
hear from him after the theater. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
at the theater.
so let's start with Dr. Lionel. So let's
Hmm.
assume that Vic goes through that south west door and Virgil ascends down the stairs into the basement. Um, okay, Dr. Lionel, you're just kind of looking around. There's a pantry. You find a lot of things that you would expect to find in a kitchen. You find some like you find some knives, you find some forks, there's some fine silver in here, some very fine china and
Right.
so forth. But you're looking around, kind of looking for clues. You don't really find anything in particular. But after you do your search, after you look in the pantry, you turn around and you look back on at the kitchen, and there is a sharp kitchen knife that is right on the table, and you swear that it wasn't there before.
Hmm. Kind of look at it, but like, I must have missed it. I mean, like still shook up from that theater. So I'm just gonna come out, but I'm gonna come out of the pantry, but I'm gonna just kind of keep an eye on that knife because it bothers me a bit. And then I'm gonna kind of look down in the basement and see if I can see Virgil's giant head down there.
Okay. Well, in the time it took you, let's do Virgil next. In the time it took you to search the pantry, which probably took maybe a couple of minutes or so, Virgil was able to make it down into the basement. Um, the basement is a chilly, dark space. For the most part, it looks empty. As you look around, you can find some chopped firewood down there, kind of near the access stairs. You also see that there are some sacks down here. Um, and that's really all that you see for now.
Okay. Uh, so how big is this one room? Is it pretty big?
Yeah. The basement is actually fairly large. I would say it's like 30 by 20 feet because it's a
Lionel gives me.
mansion. And so
Yeah.
the basement kind of takes up the area around the ground floor. So it's pretty large, pretty big. It's mostly empty, as I said, but you do see a few things, a few sacks and so forth.
Yeah, I know it could take a long time to, search such a large empty space. The emptiness can be a little deceiving. So I'll stand about in the middle of the room and start slowly observing and looking for anything out of place, maybe sub basement door to a lower floor or something, or scratching, writing, anything
Okay.
like that on the wall.
You're going to take time to search. You can give me a spot hidden. And while you're doing that, Dr. Lionel, then if you wish, you could go down and, well, I'll just say that, yeah, you kind of look down. You probably don't see Virgil, but you can definitely hear him moving around down there,
Okay. All
doing
right.
a search. It's up to you whether or not you want to go down there.
No, but like,
You just hear him say, "Leave the door open." You notice that's the only light is a little beam of light coming down the stairs from the door.
okay. So mainly what I was thinking, looking down there, see if he was the guy that might have placed the knife there, but if he's all the way down in the basement,
It
he's
couldn't have
not.
been him.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm going to calmly but quickly walk toward the door that I saw Vic go through because
Okay.
last time I hung out with him, nothing went
Okay. All right. Virgil, how'd you do on your spot hidden?
Regular success.
Okay. So, I mean, you do find some things. Like I said, there are these bags that you find. You don't find anything necessarily that we would call suspicious, but you do find some very old props. It looks like, well, you're not an expert on stage magicians or anything like that, but they're kind of piled at the back of the basement. They include trick canes. There's a trunk of some kind, a small valise, a hat box, various things that if you knew much about stage magic, it would be kind of like beginners type stuff, stuff for, rather than anything else. They look like they're rather cheap. Um,
Is the trunk locked?
the it's not locked, and if you examine it,
Try the latch.
it's actually like an escape trunk. So if you kind of look at it, it's a trunk you can get inside, but I guess it has a sliding panel where the person inside of it can get out. So again, definitely something that a stage magician would use. The paint on these props is flaking, and the wood is rotten in some places.
Okay. I don't see any suspicious things, so I'll take a picture of the basement, including the pile of props for posterity. It's a lot of P words, but
Okay,
before I go, yeah,
it's hard.
Okay.
I was gonna say it's hard to see because,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you've got those. You got the light bulbs and stuff, so you got your flash photography. You can use.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
Big.
go ahead and make your photography roll to see how
Okay.
you.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get a lot of the empty space of the room in the frame, just in case. You never know when a ghost could appear. Because I did roll a 6.
Wow.
That is 1 point off from an extreme, so I'll spend 1.
Yeah. So basically, when you take your pictures down here, your flash goes off really well and bright, and you snap your photograph like right when your flash is at its brightest. So you feel really good about like the pictures you've taken here. You really feel like it's gonna come out. It's gonna come off well. And then right after you take your last picture, the door slams shut and the lantern that you have blows out. And Dr. Lionel, you hear this as well. So right after you look down the stairs, you kind of walk away and you're walking toward the door that Vic went in, and you hear that basement door slam shut behind you.
kind of jerk and look over there, and I'm going to go right now. I'm going to rush back over. Feel like I can go back, rush back over to the basement door and try and open it back up because
Okay.
this very large man told me to leave that door open.
Okay. So you go over there and you like you twist on the doorknob and it's locked.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Um, kind of. I'm sure I'm going to jiggle it a couple times before you
Yeah.
kind of accept that it's locked. Then I'm going to step back and look at it. And is it a keyed lock on like this side? No.
No, you don't see a key lock. It just looks like a normal. It looks like a normal door, but when you twist it, it's not
Yeah,
like not
it's like
open.
it's locked. Yeah. Yeah. I am gonna hit, bang on the door and go,
Yeah.
Virgil, Virgil.
Virgil, while you're doing that, while you're downstairs, a gust of hot air rushes across you. First, it's coming from one direction, and then it comes from the reverse direction. And the blast is very powerful, and I need you to make a dex roll for Virgil.
No, it's not
No,
happening. It's a
you are
failure.
knocked off of your feet. You
Yeah.
don't take any damage, although kind of the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So a 7 foot man. So Dr. Lionel, you hear this crash like at the bottom of the basement, and you don't know what's going on. And it feels, and then as you're on the ground, Virgil, it feels like something immense, something giant is breathing in and out.
Hmm,
And I need Virgil to make another sanity check.
hmm.
I'm not a tank. This is not going to end well for me. Oh, no, that's a failure.
Okay, it's just going to be 1d2.
Hmm. Okay. Um, hmm.
Yeah, all you hear after you call for me is just like this deep, pained groanings. Ah! Just
Okay.
And
scrapes his knee.
all of a
And
sudden, Dr. Lionel, this doorknob you're turning that doesn't have a lock on it or a key or and all of a sudden it just opens like no problem.
Okay. When it does that, I imagine I kind of stumble back because I could have seen me kind of like leaning into it and then, and then I'm gonna look for like a chair to prop it open or something so
Mhm.
can't
Yeah,
slam
you can
shut on
find
me.
chairs in the
Okay.
kitchen. That's right.
Then I'm gonna go down and check on how Virgil's doing.
Yeah. So Virgil, you fell, but you're not injured. You didn't take any hit points, lost a little bit of sanity, and you're just kind of, I guess, slowly making your way back to your feet.
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
This hot breath that you felt earlier is gone. You don't sense any of that anymore.
Am I
Is
like
it,
even sure it's real? I feel a little crazy right now.
you, you okay? What, did you trip over something?
Uh, just brush myself off and look very confused. There must be magic tricks I have never heard of before.
Okay. But you're fine, right?
Yes, I tripped. I saw something, but I tripped over my own foot. That's
Oh,
all.
okay.
This great magician. I need to speak to the amazing Woodrow, I believe.
Okay. Well, let's get out of this basement, man. This old crap creeps me out.
Okay, one thing. I go and take the cane that was on the floor, and as we're walking back upstairs, I just mumble that I ain't letting no more doors slam on me. I'm gonna prop them open with this cane.
Hmm.
Let's go find the magician, the
Okay.
living one.
All right. Let's jump to Vic. Vic, you went through the southwest door. Um, you open the door, and it's clear that you're in a sitting room. You're in a round room that it's a circular room. It has a very pleasant space with couches and a fireplace, and there's a sheer, there's a lot of space here. Um, you can kind of look, it's during the daytime. The trees on the grounds are carefully arranged, so it's a nice view. In fact, you can kind of see a view of downtown Boston. It's scenic. Um, and there's an internal window that lets light in, that not only gets into this room, but also gets into the rotunda stairs, which is what you're close to.
This is a neat room. I'm admiring the view. I'm looking around. Uh, Anything interesting in here besides the furniture and that's
Give me a spot hidden.
okay. Um, oh, 53. I failed again, did I? Let me see. I think I did. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spend that 3 points.
Okay. In the room itself, you just kind of look around, and you're looking around and you're not really finding anything of interest. But then out of the corner of your eye, you look over toward the internal window and you see a dark shape kind of flit past, and it looks like it's going upstairs. But you already know that the amazing Woodrow and Carl already went upstairs. And it looks like there's somebody else going upstairs. But of course, you have two other friends in the mansion, so could be them.
Yeah, I'm gonna call up the stairs. Do I hear any footsteps going up there?
Could you say again?
Can I hear any footsteps?
Yeah, you hear some people walking around upstairs, probably.
But none on the stairs themselves.
No, you just saw a dark shape just kind of flit past.
Well, okay. I'm gonna call up. Hey guys up there, you see anybody coming that door coming up the steps?
Okay.
Well, what are you going on about?
I just saw out of the corner of my eye, I just saw a shape go up the stairs.
There's nobody on the stairs.
Huh, that's odd.
Hmm.
This place is playing tricks on me.
Look, the place is kind of grand, and there's a magician who lives here. Don't let your mind run away with you.
That's probably it. I'm just psyching myself out. All right, carry on.
So,
Okay.
Keeper is the amazing Memphis. Does he have a very famous trick he's best known for? Like, kind of like Houdini's thing with the water-filled cabinet or anything like that. Does he have a super cool thing going?
Yes. So a few things about Memphis the Great that he's famous for. Number one is he's very famous for Egyptian-based themes.
Oh, that makes sense with his name.
Yeah. So like whenever he does a show, there's always this kind of everything is kind of like ancient Egypt. He's famous for a number of tricks, but one of the ones I think that he was kind of most known that he was most famous for was some type of a teleportation trick.
Oh yeah, like between two booths, or in this
where
case,
he would go
pyramids?
through a booth on one side of the stage, and then he would come out on the booth like on
Okay.
another part of the stage.
Oh yeah, okay, I can see that being popular. Did we see any Egyptian themed stuff so far? I don't think we did.
Um, in the kind of in the prop room, and also kind of, well, you guys didn't go to the theater, but
No,
yeah,
not yet.
there's kind of some Egyptian theme.
It's very popular nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also the rotunda that you went up. Also, yeah. So it's 1927, I believe. Tutankhamun was found
Yeah,
in
that was big.
2 or something like that.
Yep.
So so there's this kind of Egyptomania going on kind of at this time in the 20s.
So we
In my
saw like
opinion,
pyramids and statues and stuff like that around. Okay.
my opinion of his teleportation magic I wouldn't be surprised if in his office we found correspondence between him and his twin brother.
That would be the easiest way to do it, of
That would be the
course.
easiest way to do it.
Otherwise, you'd have to find someone who looked a lot like you. Yeah,
He would
okay,
also be extremely careful so that
no one would
nobody
ever find
knew
out.
that he had a twin brother.
Oh, you know what,
But
Woody? I'm wondering because we're worried there's some crazy guy running around the house. What if his twin brother went mad, killed him, and then murdered those people downstairs?
that's
Okay, come on, give me some possibilities here, right? That could happen, right? Think about it.
Well,
You're
I
his
don't-
twin brother, and he takes all the credit, and he has this great career, and you're this guy who's not allowed to talk to anybody because you're like half the act. Wouldn't you
But you
snap?
kill your twin brother, then you wouldn't have. You
Yeah,
wouldn't
but you've
have
gone
the,
crazy. You don't think
act.
rationally about this stuff, right?
Well, it's not like the twin brother would be treated badly because he's just as important to the act as the other brother.
Yeah, I guess. Unless the amazing Memphis is a big jerk, you know. I mean, it's possible.
There's
Anyways,
other ways to do that. I've never actually seen that particular trick
okay.
done by him.
You know what? If
but
we
it
see any
could
pictures
be.
of like two of him in the shot, then we know your theory is correct. And then we can see if there's
Yeah,
something to work from there.
he probably entertains people here occasionally, so he'd be very careful not to have anything displayed. But you never
Yeah.
know.
You never know. Then again, maybe there's a hidden room for the brother to live in. So, okay.
Hidden
This is
brother
the
might
new
have his
theory.
own-
It's the insane twin brother theory. That's
With this kind of money, he could have his own place someplace nearby.
oh, you're right. We could have another house on the grounds or something. What kind of rooms are back here now that we're on the second floor?
Yep, I was just going to tell you. So when you come up the stairs and you get off on the second floor, and the stairs do continue to go up, but you get off here immediately. There's a window on your left which goes out to the west door. There are two doors that are close by. There is one to the north, and then a second door to the south, and there is also a hallway that kind of winds around, first heading east and then heading north.
So from
Well-
our particular where we're standing,
Mhm.
how many doors do we see total?
You see two doors from where you're standing. There's one to the north, and then there is another door to the south, which is next to a wall, which kind
And
of
these
looks
are-
like kind of a corner, maybe a corner room.
Single doors or double doors?
They both look like single doors, yes, single doors.
Well, let's check them both.
Yeah, let's just open it and see what the room is. And if it's not the office,
You
we can
check
just
that
close it
one,
in.
I'll check this one.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay.
I'll check the south door. He'll check the north door.
Okay,
Looking for a
Oh.
bedroom.
right. So looking in the north door, you open the door. It's a sunny and comfortable looking room. There's a window next to it. There's no other doors going in or out of here besides the door that you just came in. You can immediately ascertain that this appears to be a guest bedroom. There is a double bed. There is a wardrobe. There is a desk. And that's what you see.
Neat and clean. No, yeah. Somebody, this is a guest.
What's in the south?
So yeah. So what did you want to do?
Well, he was going to one door and I was going to the other.
We're just
Okay.
checking, and then once we
Yeah.
coordinate,
Yeah.
Okay, on your door, what you open, Carl,
Mhm.
is your door is looks like the master bedroom.
bingo, Woody, we got it.
I'll close that
Yeah.
door and turn around and come
Okay.
back where he is.
So you head right over you both head into the master bedroom.
Mhm.
This room has a private ensuite bathroom. It also has a walk-in wardrobe. The bedroom has restful decor. And it's actually in stark contrast to all the pomp and ostentation of the Memphis the Great persona. It's like when you visit other parts of the house, there's this Egyptian Memphis the Great thing all built up, and this bedroom looks like it's not for Memphis the Great. It looks like it's for Axel Schwartz, the
His
alter
true
ego.
self. Yes.
Right.
This might have some useful things.
Right. It is a plain room. It's got a comfortable double bed. It's got a bedside cabinet, and then the wardrobe is sparsely filled.
Oh,
There's
really?
a collection of suits and shoes, but they're unremarkable. They're not they're not the type that somebody would wear onto a stage.
He's
They're
not
just
performing in these. No.
Yeah.
not performing. Even the wallpaper is muted in here.
Well, it's kind of good that he's got a normal kind of space. Means he probably has got some humble in him at his core. He's not too overinflated.
Right.
We're looking
might
for
not even
papers and
like-
things.
You might not even like all of that Egyptian stuff. It's just
Yeah,
part of
this
the
probably is
persona.
his way to escape is here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, desk. See if there's.
Oh, with bedside reading too, just out of curiosity. I wonder what a man like this reads when he wants to fall asleep at night.
Okay, so you're going to
Another
find
door.
some stuff, but you can give me spot hiddens to see if you can find some higher quality things as well.
Ooh, 16 out of 65. I think that's a hard
Nice.
success. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I got a 40. What is 40? Spot hidden? Yes, it's regular.
Yeah, well, you guys are pretty good investigators. You're able to kind of quickly look around and find something. So you find in a drawer on the bedside cabinet, I'll say Carl finds this because you got the higher level of success on your spot hidden.
Okay.
You find what looks like a journal, like it's Memphis's travel journal. It's a battered pocket-sized notebook. It's bound with brown leather, and it's embossed with a gold outline of an ibis hieroglyph.
Oh, interesting.
Resting on top of the notebook is a key. It's a well-worn key.
Okay. Is the journal one of those locked journals, or is this key for something else?
No, the key looks like it's for something. It looks like the key looks like it's a door key.
Okay, well, take that for the moment. We'll put it back later when we're done. Woody, this looks like maybe we can figure out where he left, because this is obviously he plans his trips for his trick hunting. Maybe I'm going to flip to the last page. I mean, it's terrible when you're reading novels. You're not supposed to do that, but I want to see if he said where he was going recently.
Okay, so you're flipping all the way to the last page.
I want to see like planned trip to so-and-so, the Catskills or whatever he was hanging out.
So if that's the case, I got something for you.
November 16th, 1925. So this is actually 2 years ago then, this entry, right?
Right.
Okay. Philip states Y-S is caterminous with all times and space. Woody, we're going to have to look up that word. If I can reliably open the way, no frontier would be forbidden. I could travel the very structures of the cosmos as a spider might traverse the joists and eaves of a house. This man is a literary bit. Good for him. Sounds a bit mad, though.
Well, it sounds like maybe he's making up some story of his next act or something that's 2 years ago. So,
was Philip his assistant? I'm trying to remember who Philip was again. GM, did we meet a Philip, or was a Philip mentioned to us?
No.
Okay, so we don't know who Philip is. All right.
There's more in
for
the
a second.
journal. Just kind of looked toward the end.
Okay, you know what? I'll pull back and I'll start sort of reading through it.
The rest of
I'll read it. I'll look at the rest of it. Yeah.
I'm going to say, I do want to correct myself. This is actually not the last entry, because the entry actually does go all the way up until the current. This is the first. So if you start at the end and you go back, there's nothing really relevant that stands out.
Okay, but this is the first thing that stands out.
Right. And then if you kind of go back and you decide you're going to go the other direction, the interesting stuff starts here.
All right. I will start with April 22nd, 1919. Finally quiet. The monks seemed obsessed with their music rituals. If I can credit the discordant assembly of flutes, horns, bells, and drums with them. Here on the track, we hear only the wind and the cries of strange birds. I wonder where he was at the time. April 23rd, 1919. A herdsman tried to interest me in the legend of the Magoi. Am I reading that correctly? Magai, and claimed to possess the skull of such a beast that he would be happy to show me. He had the eyes of a Montman I studied in New York last year. We declined his kind offer and wished him good health. He spat on the ground and mother cursed as we left. Oh, this is why he's doomed himself, of course. April 25th, 1919. Still cannot find a trace of the supposed mystic. The forest thinned out as we climbed, and I am certain we are in the right place. Judging by the alignment of the mountains, there is no obvious animal life here, and the silence is eerie. If we find nothing tomorrow, we must turn back in order to fulfill our royal appointment. Okay. April 26th, 1919. Darkness is coming on. We should have turned back today. But in the twilight, Josephine spotted what appears to be a man-made stone tower on an outcrop. If we investigate at first light and are disappointed, we can still make it back in time to perform for the king. This guy had a busy social calendar. Okay. Anything after that?
Yep. You can read this as well.
All right. April 27th. This man is as rich a mystery as I've discovered in years. I cannot quite translate his name. It yields something like maker of gates. Okay, he makes doors, sure. It seems ironic since his cave dwelling has no protection except blankets. He seems to have no fear of wild beasts. April 29th. He levitated my shoe today. Oh, he's a magician too. Completely impromptu. I saw it too. He let me pass my hand completely around it and pluck it from the air. The only possible explanation is that he's been feeding us hallucinogens. I agree, sir. May 4th, 1919. I think I see, but he's holding something back. May 9th, 1919. Seems totally uninterested in Jay, despite her dedication to her studies. That would be Josephine, I assume. May 10th. He will carry out the call tonight. We must all stand in the tower at the appointed time. His eyes have changed. May 11th. The spheres. I see, 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 I see. He sees. May 12th.
And he apparently writes that over and over again.
Yes, he does. He likes the word. May 12th, I looked for remains. There were none. If I copied the symbols, we must have a story to explain our absence. Well, yeah, you've just ditched the king. He's going to be miffed. Okay. Any more?
And then the next thing you see of interest goes...
Oh, it's years later.
Right. So that's about 6 years later. And that's something about a YS. The other thing, I'll go ahead and stop the share here. The other thing that you notice, well, actually, could both of you, as you're looking through this, give me intelligence rolls?
Oh, 13. That is
good.
Oh, I'll spend 1 point to make it an extreme.
Okay.
You know what? I'll let his carry then.
Okay, sounds good.
He's got the good roll.
So, Dr. Woodrow, a few things kind of stand out to you. Mm-hmm. One thing is that the journal has not been updated for 6 weeks. It also seems on an extreme, you can tell that Memphis takes this journal everywhere he goes. And since he has not taken this journal, it looks like his current disappearance does not look like it's been planned.
We were kind of figuring that. Yeah, okay.
It seems unlikely that he had gone on any journey, without taking this journal with him. The other thing you notice is there is a distinct change in style around the parts that you read between April to May of 1919. The earlier writings are very cool and observant travel writing. It's humorous and personal at times. But then after, the period where, what you just read, where he's saying, I see, I see, I see, I see. Um, a- After that, the writing melts into a more obscure, penetrating style, and it's asking strange questions and using cryptic abbreviations and
Right.
bizarre words like Tawel Atum, the
Yeah.
open way, the demon sultan, just to name a few.
He seems to
Hmm.
be, and I'm saying this to Carl, it seems
Hmm.
to be that he became obsessed with something, that whole bit about seeing something levitate and maybe it being a hallucination.
Hmm.
Um, the whole thing, sort of to me, it he mentioned monks, yes,
Hmm.
and
Well,
singing,
wasn't
and
wasn't wasn't travel to Tibet all in the vogue back around then?
I was going to say, yes, it starts to sound not like Christian monks,
Yeah,
but
Buddhist or something.
some sort of Buddhist or Himalayan. Um, yeah, I agree. So you got the same feeling from
Yeah,
it.
I wonder if he. Do you think he had a profound experience? Because.
Well, I think, see, we don't know a lot about how the fakirs
Hmm.
do their illusions.
Hmm.
Um, and he was interested, obviously, he was interested in the magic, so he probably went there
Hmm.
looking to discover the secrets of the
Absolutely.
Orient and so forth.
Yeah,
And then he saw something that made him obsessed with learning how it was done.
that makes
That
sense.
that seems to be the gist of it. Most of it is just the musings, but we know that he didn't
Well,
leave. He didn't take the journal with him when he left, which is interesting.
you think he ran afoul of an accident?
I heard Lionel say something about a theater in the building. We haven't seen that. Um,
Oh, you mean he maybe was setting up a trick and he hurt himself? Well, he'd be dead by now, I guess, and he hurt himself.
you're on the track of what I was thinking, that
Yeah.
this place is rather large, and I doubt seriously that the police
Well, he lived here alone,
searched.
it sounds like. So if he did hurt himself, that would be the end of him. Like, what's he gonna
I
do?
wouldn't be surprised if accidentally we might find him in the basement or in the attic or someplace. Although I don't
Yeah,
smell anything,
that's
so
true. But we haven't been upstairs yet.
we certainly would smell something by now.
Well, I'm gonna hold
Um,
on to this key in case we find a locked door that might suggest something useful. Um, this
Also
is
seems
not
like he
taking
would.
us. This is not helping us figure out who killed those gentlemen, though. That's the thing I'm worried about.
Well, I don't know. That
Well,
is
my gut
that
wants
is
to
the
solve what
mystery.
happened to him, but the other part of me wants to get paid.
Well, I mean, nothing might. He might just as well be on a trip, perhaps another trip to Tibet, something like
I
that.
think he would have brought this
Uh,
with him, though. So I think our theory that he's
no,
somehow perished or got himself into trouble
there
is the sailing one.
also didn't seem to be a tremendous amount of like luggage and clothing missing
No, actually, does he have any suitcases around here like people would have when they were planning to do a trip?
under his bed.
But if they're still there, he didn't take them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So when you made your spot hiddens earlier, you both rolled really well.
Mhm.
So yeah, so you do find some suitcases.
His
Yes.
steamer
Right.
trunk is there. His, yeah.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I think something happened on the premises. So, okay,
Or outside. As I said, he could
or
have gone
outside
out
on the
for a drink and
grounds.
been
Yeah.
killed.
Okay.
But he's not. He's missing. He's definitely missing. He's
Hmm.
not just off somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he had a girlfriend and was
Or who this
having
Josephine is, I
fun,
wonder.
he wouldn't be out there for 6 weeks.
No.
He'd be coming home every once in a while.
Well,
Uh,
well, if he's dead, who murdered the burglars?
that's the
And
strangest
I mean,
thing.
brutally and insanely murdered those burglars. That's not just kind of like, oh, you dare to invade my house, or whack. I mean, they were tortured with the tricks. That's a particular kind of mind. Actually, I have decent psychology games, Master. Can I try to figure out a little bit about what kind of mind might have done that, if that helps at all? Because this is not a normal person we're dealing with. This is like a serial killer or a madman.
Sure. Yeah, you could make a roll.
I'm wondering if maybe somehow they
Oh my God,
kill each
0-1.
other.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. So
I'm not kidding.
like a psychopath?
Yeah, like I'm going like,
No.
yeah, who is this? What is the mind of this person that we're looking at?
Yeah,
We
somebody
still
who
have
is psychotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have a couple of other people that we haven't interviewed. We wanted to see
You're
the house
right.
first.
You know what? I looked at that portrait of his magical heir or whatever. That guy looks like he might fit our.
We don't even know that that's that person.
Yeah, I know, that's true. That's true.
But let's see how I suppose we've seen what we wanted to see up here.
Yeah,
There's no need.
I bet you if there was a body, the others probably stumbled across it already. Although we should all go check the third floor, maybe.
Well, let's just go see what the others have found.
Okay.
We
All right.
found the bedroom, what we wanted, and we
Yep.
we found a journal. I don't think there's anything above this.
Okay.
It's worth trunks of clothes and stuff.
So
let's go back downstairs.
All right. So the five of you that were, let's say, kind of meet back together downstairs.
Near the bottom of the
I do want to remind you, because it's been a while since we played, that actually you were given tickets to a magic
at 7
the Wilbur
o'clock.
Theater, and that's
We remember.
going to be starting fairly soon. So if you wanted to attend it, you might need to leave soon so you can get back into town, maybe change your clothes.
Let's do it, gentlemen. I'm suspicious of that guy. I want to see him on stage.
I want to leave the house, so yeah, let's go through the thing. Yeah.
The thing is,
Yeah,
neither me nor Woodrow saw any supernatural stuff, so we're just going, oh, this is just some normal crazy people shit.
Well, yeah, I think that they're freaking themselves out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly what else could it possibly be?
Yeah. Big houses can be spooky. Okay,
are you taking the journal with you? Or
yes, because maybe we can pick through it for more clues.
Sure. All right. So let's say
actually, I'll let the others read through it too, just so they know what's in it.
Okay.
So we're gonna go freshen up.
Yeah. So you guys are able to get back in your car, and you're able to head back. You're able to, for those of you that want to freshen up, maybe get a shower in, maybe put on some good duds. Back in the 1920s, when people went out to a show in the theater, they would generally, try to wear their best and so forth. So let's say you're able to do all of that, and you're seeing the performance of Harold Hawkins, who is a magician who was the apprentice of Memphis the Great. And he is performing at the Wilbur Theater. And you were also told, when you did your initial interview and you talked to Mr. Pickering, the lawyer that hired you, that Mr. Hawkins was dating Ingrid Schwartz, which is Memphis the Great's daughter.
I had an engaged in my notes.
Yeah, engaged. Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
They were engaged. They weren't married. They were engaged. Yes, that's right.
Our players included Keith Craig, Troy Lehman, David Shiflett, Mike Kyle, and myself, with Justin Bumgardner as the keeper of arcane lore. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows, free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons, who are listed in the closing credits. If you would like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.